A question. Despite everything the administration has done, the U.S. is not yet on track to hit the Paris target. What is the missing piece? What else does the administration have that can do to push that all the way?
That's a great question. Look, when the president set his nationally determined contribution, the goal of 50 to 52%, his first Earth Day in office, I think a lot of folks were very, very skeptical. I remember because I took your questions. And in the time since, through the bipartisan infrastructure law and through the Inflation Reduction Act, he's driven a lot of the trajectory through an investment-based approach. And when you look at that, and there are a number of blue chip modelers in the space, they'll give you estimates high 30%, low 40% relative to that 2030 goal. And let's remind ourselves, when we came into office, that 2030 target was looking like something like in the mid-20s at best is where the U.S. was going to be. So the Inflation Reduction Act infrastructure law gets us from those sort of low to mid-20s to high 30s, low 40s. Then you pile on top of that all of the impressive accomplishments this president. Hydrofluorocarbons, super polluting greenhouse gas. He made sure we implemented the AIM Act from day one of this administration, and then he got through the United States Senate on a bipartisan basis ratification of the Kigali Amendment, right? That's on its own like 75, 100 million metric tons for folks, you know, who care about the numbers. 75 million metric tons is about a percentage point, right? So HFCs, another percentage point. Then you look at the methane rules. We had a White House methane summit just a couple weeks ago. We've proposed now regulatory activity from Department of Transportation on those pipelines that go into cities, from the Department of Interior for oil and gas developed on public lands, and through the EPA for broader coverage of operations, including into the midstream. That rule alone is expected to deliver over 100 million metric tons of, or set of rules is expected to deliver over 100 million. So that's another percentage point, maybe a percentage point and a half. We proposed rules in the auto sector, in the transport, in the power sector, and the administration's also driving, I think, tremendous action through the purchasing power of the federal government. So the industrial sector, which has been traditionally looked at as, gee, that's impossible to decarbonize. Steel, cement, aluminum will never get those tons. Well, in this administration, we're chasing after clean steel, clean aluminum, clean cement. The General Services Administration, which maybe folks haven't heard of, GSA, they buy stuff for us. They've set standards for asphalt, for flat glass, for steel, for aluminum. So as we're going through the infrastructure decade, which, by the way, this is like the biggest moment for infrastructure ever, we're buying stuff that's clean. And we're not the only ones that are doing it. Thanks to the president's leadership, we've catalyzed action at the state level. 12 states have stepped up with Buy Clean programs of their own. New Jersey has created a production tax credit for clean cement. So that's how you start to stack up. And we keep the math, we do the accounting, we stay in touch with private sector, public sector, and we have a line of sight to the 50 to 52%. We're on a trajectory to meet those goals because of his leadership. I mean, you know,
To meet the 2030 goal?
absolutely. And it's because, and you know, President often says, never a good bet to bet against America. I don't think it's a pretty good bet to bet against Joe Biden either, right? He made a goal. He set that goal as super ambitious. He's delivered legislative wins in the form of investment. He's delivered legislative wins in the form of bipartisan action through on the Kigali Amendment. He's delivered legislative wins in the form of policy empowerment within our agencies, and he's taken bold executive action in every single agency of the federal government, and that's driving a cascading effect of leaders at the state and local level also stepping up.
Okay.